Nowotny, Network Marketing Mastery.pro. Today we are in the Northside Studios in Brooklyn, New York. Very happy to be here with Crystal from the Bronx.
Yes.
Please, Crystal, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Crystal from the Bronx. I'm a massage therapist, and I'm very big on healing. I have been since I was a little girl. My mother is into it, so I'm very in tune with it.
Now, talking to you, I was amazed by the depths of your thought and the feeling of your heart. And we immediately touched on some central themes of humanity, which is self-determination and being enslaved. And as network marketers, as internet marketers, as information marketers, as entrepreneurs in general, we are on the path to become self-determined people. And unfortunately, this psychological hurdle is the biggest hurdle to become a successful entrepreneur. Even as a massage therapist, as a healer, as a yoga instructor, I greatly admire anyone who becomes independent, who becomes self-determined. But there are struggles, there are challenges, and I would like to ask you, what's your take on it? On the journey to self-determination versus the ingrained slavery, the being kept down, which also turns into ourselves, already keeping ourselves down because we have learned to be kept down.
Yes. I've always felt that I was not good enough growing up. No matter how many times my mother or someone else would reassure me, I still felt like I have to work a little harder. And when I work hard and I get there, I still feel like, no, I'm not good enough. So I had to learn to overcome that. I had to learn to pass what slavery has ingrained into my people for generations and look past slavery, because we have a history before slavery, because we tend to say that slavery is our history, but it's not. So I had to look past that and say, you know, I come from kings and queens, and so I have to embrace that instead of slavery, but also recognize that slavery did happen and face that first and overcome that, and then embrace the queen in me.
So your people were kings and queens. You have in your genetics the queen. And later on your people went across the Atlantic and then they were enslaved.
Yes.
And now these brave people are on the way to freedom through many hurdles.
Yes.
Civilizational hurdles, cultural hurdles, but mostly also internal hurdles. Because we have seen people from any background become great. Also people from your people. And so it seems that although there is certain, what I always experience when I come to America is the descendants of Jewish Holocaust survivors. This is a big theme. Of course, your people, but what breaks my heart personally even more is the native Indians of America and what has become of them and how they are still kept down. And what is the way to greatness? You say you remember not only your slavery, genetical programmings, but you remember you are a queen. You are unique. You are powerful.
Yes,
you are wonderful. Nothing can stop you. Who can stop you, Crystal?
No one can stop me but myself. So I had to search spiritually. It was a spiritual awakening. It really was. And once you have that spiritual awakening, you just can't let it go. You can't say, oh, okay, yeah. No, you have to embrace it and say, all right, I was awoken, and now what do I do from here? And you cannot give up. You have to stick with it and say, you know, keep reminding yourself, I'm a queen. I'm a queen. It's like reminding yourself. You have to stay in that state, and then you meditate on that, and you grow.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Wow. This is, and I feel it. It's really a state of being. The I am sentences.
Yeah, I am.
Is something extremely powerful. And this is action step number 1 for you, the audience. What are your I am sentences?
Yes.
Write down 20 of them. The self-definitions that you give to yourself, your I am sentences, and write them down without filtering them, because it's important for you to get an overview. What are your I am sentences? And you may find out that 12 of your I am sentences are rather negative or self sabotaging. You might also find out that 12 or 15 of your 20 are in fact positive. And no matter what you find out, do you have more positive or negative I am sentences? What's the next step? What would you say?
Well, you cross those out, because you see where the negative is, and so you have to address it, cross it out, and focus on the positive. I want to say love. Love is the key, because you cannot hate what people have done to you. I can say, oh, all white people are this and that. No, it's it was that particular group of people who did that. It wasn't the next person that's next to me sitting here. They can have a great heart. You cannot hate. You have to have love. Love has to be the key. Because if you don't have love, you have nothing. I really believe you don't have anything if you don't have love. Yeah.
I was not lucky enough to live in Africa for a few years. I was lucky enough to live in Brazil for 2 years. And to live in the southern hemisphere changes people from the northern hemisphere for good. But I have heard from people who lived on your continent, Africa, that it was the best time of their life. I heard that from several people. They still remember it kindly, and their heart gets changed forever. And I have met Indians born in Africa, white people born in Africa, and of course black people born in Africa, and I feel with all of them that amazing heart. And so it doesn't have to do with skin color or anything. It has to do really with Africa, the continent. It has a big heart. And for me, anyway, Africa is the cradle of humanity. So genetically, it's a place we all come from. Actually, all the continents were one once upon a time, which is also very interesting. And I also had a very interesting story with a doctor of physics and atomic physics who visited one of my workshops in the University of Ostrava in the Czech Republic. I asked him, where are you from, sir? And he said, I'm from Africa. I said, yes, I assumed it, but are you from Senegal? Are you from wherever? And he said, I'm from Africa. And then I again said, yeah, I understand, but where in Africa? And then he gave me this big, beautiful smile. He said, it's you white people who divided up our continent in different countries. For us, it's only Africa. It's the land, Africa, and there's only one land. And we don't cut it up into pieces.
That's right. Yeah.
What would you say about that view of oneness versus cutting up things?
I think that also stems from love. Being one, united, unity is strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, and being one with actually the land itself is healing for a person.
Wow.
I think so.
Wow.
Because if you treat the ground wrong, you're treating yourself wrong. You have to love the ground. You have to love the earth.
Beautiful.
So.
Beautiful. My teacher always used to say, the mind divides, the heart unites. The mind divides, the heart unites. You speak about love. Love is the great healer.
Yeah, love, unity.
And it's not only among people or geographically that the mind tends to cut and separate things. It's actually even within a single person. We cut ourselves up. We fragment ourselves. We cut ourselves into pieces, and then we don't feel our heart anymore. And we feel desperate and we feel terrible. What would you say about that? How can you make yourself more whole and reintegrate yourself?
Oh, you have to meditate. You have to grow your spirit. It's not the outer. I think more importantly is the inner. Spiritually, you have to grow, and that'll manifest on the outside, and people will see it.
Wow.
Yeah, spirit. Spirit is important.
Wow.
To grow your spirit, yeah.
Absolutely. Wow, I love that. So now Crystal has recently started to become a network marketer. And now that's also an interesting thing, because in network marketing, we succeed only when we work in a team. Network marketing is the one profession where there is definitely the chance to create win-win-win situations. And actually those who are the most capable in creating win-win and win-win-win situations, those are the ones who go the farthest and who are the most successful in network marketing. Versus corporate culture, very often it is like, if you go up, somebody else has to go down. If you get the job, somebody else loses the job. And so people are fighting, people are competing with each other in a corporate environment. In network marketing, and this is really one of the things that makes it difficult for people, that mindset shift, that you should work together with everyone. And also it's a natural human tendency to become jealous. Let's say somebody in your team becomes really successful, and then where are you then? Suddenly everybody says, wow, you're a great team member, and then you are like, you maybe signed them up, but you're nobody. And this goes back, by the way, to a childhood conflict. When you are more children, the children always look to get the attention of the parents. And you know, suddenly the new child comes and is the star of the family, and then, oh, I'm just an also-ran, you know. And so this competing for attention is a very, very key human issue. And it comes from our childhood. It's like the little children already compete for attention. Not only among the mother and father, also among their teachers, among their friends. They want to be looked at, they want to be admired. And this is what network marketing produces, stars. Yet these stars are not stars, you know, who, but stars by oneness, stars by making others win. It means you will be the greatest network marketer if you have several members of your team being stars outshining you. Let us say you have 7 queens and kings in your team, and they're all even better than you. Now what does that make you?
I'm still a queen.
You're still a queen, exactly. And in fact, if the queen, Crystal, has several other queens and kings in her team, she is actually something like a super queen.
Yeah.
And she doesn't always have to stand out. She gives the limelight to her other kings and queens in the team.
Very good.
And then they are happy and you are happy anyway because they are in your team. And that's the great thing.
Yeah, that's great.
So tell me just one more thing. What do you love about network marketing?
What do I love about network marketing? Well, I'm just beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to find my bearings here, but I do know the person that introduced it to me. She's wonderful, and she has that, what you just said about trying to make you shine, you know, and she has that. She pushes me. So I actually started to like it because of the encouragement. So I think right now for me it's encouragement because I'm just beginning. I don't really have my bearings in it quite yet.
Yes, it will come. And inwardly you have it already. So thank you so much, Crystal.
Thank you very much.
Great to be here in New York. And action steps for you. First, the I am sentences. Please write down a list of 20 of your I am sentences. Cross out those that don't fit anymore. And replace them by better, more illuminating, more uplifting I am sentences. Because with your I am definitions, you're defining who you are. I am a queen.
I am love.
I am love. I'm a star. I'm a super queen. You know? And these great sentences, I want you to write down a list of 20, cross out some that don't serve you anymore, and replace them with other more uplifting ones. And the ones that are good, you can even upgrade them if you want, but otherwise just continue to say them with a deep feeling in your heart. So that's one action step. The other action step is, again, when you are in a team, who is the most important in the team? Everybody is. So I want you to become aware that you will become the super queen, the super king only if you give your queens and your kings in your team their proper place, their recognition, the admiration that they deserve. The greater you make them, the greater they will make you. And that is the win-win in network marketing. So if you come from a corporate background, or if you have as a little child already been fighting for attention and being the one child who is loved by everyone, and if you may have suffered in your childhood and you got jealous when another child took the limelight, this is something deeply ingrained with many human beings, and this is something I want you to have a look at. Maybe to write down some situations when you felt like that. And then also look how that situation from your childhood, like fighting for attention or getting jealous, how that is still replicating now in your grown-up life. and ask yourself the question, does it serve you? Or does it limit you? And in fact, in network marketing, we will find out it limits us, because network marketing is something that gives us the chance to really be in oneness together. So third action step, the mind divides, the heart unites. This is an aphorism you can say to yourself again and again, and you will find it's always true. Usually the mind messes up. The mind cuts up things, cuts people, and even we cut ourselves, we separate ourselves, we fragment ourselves. So the heart unites. A final word, how do you approach your heart?
How do I approach my heart? I just access it by meditating and repeating the I ams.
Yeah?
And just have love. Just unite with like-minded people.
Love.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
and like-minded people.
Wonderful.
To encourage.
Be in love and love those around you. Thank you so much, Crystal.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
This is Aditya Nowotny, Network Marketing Mastery.pro. Bye bye, till next time.